Well, many people dream of moving or downsizing once they get closer to retirement age, but financial experts warn possibly some hidden costs that you might want to look out for, and also that some might overlook. We have financial advisor Scott Gwatney from Burns Financial here to break it down for us. A very important topic, especially as you get closer to retirement age. Good morning, first.
Good morning. How are you?
So let's just get right into it. If people want to downsize, you got kids are out of the house, empty nest. Maybe you don't want such a big home anymore. You want to sell that, maybe move to a new, more quiet place. Maybe you don't want to deal with stairs. I know that's something.
Absolutely.
What should people know? What's some of the first tips you would give somebody who wants to downsize?
Some of the big reasons, like you talked about, cost of living, weather. Maybe we've lived in Louisiana our life and now we want to go retire and move to the mountains.
I don't want to deal with weather.
Florida,
Bad weather anymore.
Yeah, switch hurricanes for tornadoes. But I mean, maybe you want to go somewhere else and that's always been your dream. The biggest thing is just downsizing from, like, let's say we have a 4 or 5 bedroom home that got us through life. Well, now if it's just a couple, we don't need that much upkeep. We don't need 3 or 4 or 5 acres of land to upkeep. We want to downsize to a 2-bedroom condo. Those are usually some of the big reasons we see clients want to downsize.
Yeah.
Just to kind of slow down life and maybe even start to move or travel and go other places in the country.
Yeah, and so, but financially downsizing, is it always a smart move to downsize in general?
I would say it depends on your situation. A smart move, it can be, but if we're going to downsize here and we have a mortgage at 3% rate, but we're going to want to move to New York City, we're going to downsize to a 2-bedroom condo there, but now maybe we need a new mortgage at 6-7% rate. That could eat entire retirement savings. So that's just something we tell clients to be attentive of and concentrate on when they're looking at certain areas to move to.
And if you're at retirement age, odds are you might have a lot of stuff. Your house, like you said, if you have a 3-bedroom home and you had a lot of kids, if they're out the house, you might just have a lot of stuff. So just even the act of moving, the cost of selling, the actual cost of just downsizing in general, there are a lot of hidden fees you're going to have to remember to think about.
Yeah, when you move, like moving fees. If we're not, we're not in your 20s anymore.
You're going to hire somebody.
We're not going to hire somebody.
I hire people. Yeah, I'm not doing it myself anymore.
Exactly. So we're going to hire people, but also it's going to look at real estate commissions. So if we say, hey, we have $100,000 left in our mortgage, when we sell our home, we may not be netting $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. We've got to factor in those expenses, that total what we're going to be able to put into the next home that we move into.
The other question I would talk about is do you even, if you're going to downsize and sell your home that you've been in for 25 years, 30 years, whatever it is, and you do want to sell, does it necessarily mean you got to go buy something, or would you recommend renting to somebody who's in
renting is not always a bad idea. And I tell everyone, especially in certain areas, we don't know much about the area. Let's go rent for a few months or a couple years to figure out where exactly we want to make that next permanent move. And also, what if we're moving just to help out kids? Either start them into school, 3 or 4 kids, help the grandkids out, or even help that transition to high school for a couple years, and then we're going to move to the mountains. We're going to move to Florida, but first we got to move out to meet the kids and be closer to them to help them out. So renting's sometimes a very smart move, especially allows flexibility.
That's a great point too. That's something that I don't have kids yet, but I know a lot of friends, people I work with have got kids, and the having the grandparents nearby is just such a huge deal.
It's priceless.
Yeah, and so the last thing I would tell you is just if anybody's even thinking about doing something like this, they're entering that age where they want to start maybe cashing in on that 401k or selling their home. What's the first advice, the first thing you think they should do?
Before you start doing this, I tell everyone, especially when it's moving, tax planning, financial planning, always sit with your financial planner, your tax planner, especially before we start to either plan for retirement or even start to plan a move. Let's factor all these expenses, put a budget together, go in there with those details so we can kind of get as much clarity as possible. So there's really not any unexpected expenses that rear their ugly heads.
And you want to enjoy retirement. You don't want to go into debt once you get into
Exactly. So you're supposed to be less stressed, not more stressed.
Exactly. All right. We picture Scott Gwatney with Burns Financial. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
All right.